Now in this section I want to change my configuration to reflect the ROS reflector topology here, and it is very easy. Actually we don't need to make so much change in our network. I just have removed the neighborship between router 2 and router 4 because these two do not need to be neighbor anymore, but all of these routers should be, for example, router 1's neighbor. If I select router 1 as route reflector, other routers need to be router 1's client. So I have a neighborship between router 1 and router 2, and I already have this. I don't need to change this. I will create a neighborship between router 1 and router 4, and I already have a neighborship between router 1 and router 3. These neighbors need to have just a minor change on router 1. So what happens after this change? These routers will be clients of router 1. Actually, they don't know that they are clients of router 1. They have their own normal behavior. If they receive any external BGP routes, they will direct it to other routers in their autonomous system. But this neighbor is router 1, and router 1 knows that it is a route reflector and considers router 2 and router 4 and router 3 as its clients. So route reflector redirects all of those updates to these routers. This way, all routers in my network know about BGP routes, and they do not need too much change. Okay, as I told you, I have removed the neighborship between router 2 and router 4. But I want to create a neighborship between router 1 and router 4. If I go to router 1, I add a neighbor. That's my router 4. And the remote address, this time I want to change the remote address. I want to add 4444 as my remote address. And because this is an internal BGP, I don't need to go and select, for example, multi-hop. But I just want to use the update source, and I want my loopback 0 to be my update source. Let's go back to General tab. Here, I need one more piece of setting, and that's this. Multi-hop. That's this route reflect. I need to select this checkbox and make it checked because router 1 wants to consider router 4 as route reflector. So I select this and click on OK. It tells me I couldn't add new BGP peer invalid remote AS. I forgot to add 65,000 here as my remote AS and click on OK. That's it. And I want to go to router 4 and create a neighborship with router 1. If I try to add a neighbor, you can see that I already have a neighborship between router 3 and router 4. I want to remove this. I don't need this neighborship any longer. I add 1111, that is in remote AS 65,000. Here I don't need to touch anything other than these settings, and I want my loopback 0 as my update source. This is all I need to do here. Just a simple configuration. Okay, now router 4 is I want to change it to R1, of course, so that I can know the peering. Router 4 is router 1's client without knowing that. Let's go to router 2. I want to change all of these to use loopback 0, and all of them will connect to router 1, and they're going to select loopback 0 as their update source. This is a better option here, and I need to go to router 1 and change the configuration to reflect this. I want to go to 2222, and here you can see that I have selected route reflect. So router 1 considers router 2 as its client. Let's go here and select loopback 0 as my update source, and here I need to do the same thing. Loopback 0, the remote address is going to be 3333, and router 3 is my route reflector client, so I select route reflect here. If I click on OK, now I can see that router 2, 3, and 4 are my clients. All of them have neighborship with me. I need to go to router 3 and change the configuration a little bit like this. I don't need to be router 4's neighbor any longer. I just want to change the update source to loopback 0, and I should consider my remote address as 1111 and click on OK. That's it. Now you can see that all of these routers are router 1's client without knowing that. Router 1 will receive updates from these routers and will redirect all of those updates to other routers. And let's check the BGP routes right now. If I go to router 1, if I go to advertisement, I can see that I will send updates to router 2 and router 3 because I have received these updates from router 4, and I do not consider these routes internal. And if I go to router 3, for example, router 3, I do not want to, send these updates to my internal BGP routers, BGP neighbors. If I go to IP routes, I can see all of those routes installed here. And if I try to ping, this will be successful, except the fact that I have not sent any, anything about my internal network to ISP1. And I'm going to show you how I can do this in a minute. Okay, now I have solved this problem of having a black hole in my network about BGP. Now in the next section I want to show you how I can send a minimal amount of information about my network to ISP1 so that ISP1 can return the replies of pings or anything else in my network without knowing too much.